This is Jonah Hill, and you're listening to the only podcast that matters.
Bro Gang, we are joined by the Baron of the Big Shorts, the Collab King, the Street Style Sultan. He got a Wooster in his Rari. The name Nickel, but he's a dime. The side part Czar. Free agent, but the price ain't free. Bow down to the all-merciful Woos God. The mustache maestro. He got the sauce. Call him Chic Filet. The personal trainer Titan. Photo shoot fresh, looking like wealth. He calls the street style photographers on himself. Got more ink than Gutenberg. All this camo, you can't see him like John Cena. More skirts than the Catholic school. Brand consultant, free agent, and certified fashion legend, Nick Wooster. Nick, how are you?
An old faggot.
Oh, I had that in here, but I didn't say it. Yeah.
You can say that.
You can say it too.
What's up, Nick?
But that's the your version of a hood pass. Thank you for hosting us in your beautiful palatial palace in the sky.
Hoarder Central.
I do like how you turned your office into a second closet since I've last been here.
And I still have shit in storage.
How many storage units do you have?
Well, I don't have, so it's bins. I use Make Space, which come
That's
in
a
those
free plug.
office.
They gotta cut the fucking check.
They
Can they afford you?
Yeah.
Actually, they did. I did a social media with them early on.
Right.
Early on.
Yeah, of course.
No, but it's the best thing in the world. And can I just tell you, it's not expensive. Like, it's really not expensive. The only issue with it is that they obviously are bogged down because in supply chain.
Sure.
But
Byron.
it kind of is a nightmare to sort of schedule a pickup or schedule delivery. But other than that,
Hey, where are we going? Where are we going?
Is there?
Well, you're going to Italy tomorrow. So.
Yeah. Are there like grails in storage, or is it kind of like just old shit?
So I got rid of so much during the beginning of COVID because I was like panicking that I was going to have no more income coming in, or that there wouldn't be anything for me to do, and which is,
although you could argue who else thrived hardest in COVID but influencers and spawn consultants,
Free agents.
Yeah, free agents.
thank the fucking Lord Jesus
For Instagram.
for SpawnCon,
Yeah, right.
for Instagram. I mean, it really changed my life. I mean, I always say, you guys, well, Lawrence especially,
Thank you
changed
very
my
much.
life.
We'll talk about that.
You started it, but yeah, like, wow.
Thank God for brands, right? They're people too, and they're people who pay well.
Legally, they are people.
Yeah. Nick, the first thing we want to do is we want to do a little fit check where you're going to walk the audience at home through the totality of your outfit today. You're out running errands. We're back at the crib now to pod. Do you want to start bottom up or do you want to go top down?
I always go top down.
Oh, really? Okay. On our show, that makes you a police officer.
Top
You
down,
aren't the military.
top down,
You're a top.
outside
You're a
in.
top.
I'm a definite top.
Let's get that out of the way.
Outside in.
Yeah.
Uniqlo cashmere that I wash and put in the washing machine and dryer.
It looks very chic regardless of the wear and tear.
Thank you.
You intentionally did that.
Well, I had to slim down because that other sweater, I had James Purse on before, but it was too slouchy.
Okay.
It wasn't going to be good for the picture.
Sure.
Right.
And then the Nick Wooster Pollen Chart collaboration pants that never saw the light of day.
Oh, really?
These are one-on-ones.
Well, they are actually. I have so many pairs of these, and I wear them all the time. And every time I wear them, people ask,
Can we get a pair?
They're like
Maybe
a
Dover
perfect
Street
cargo.
Market. Thank you. At Dover Street Market in London, they were like, "Oh, we love your pants. Whose are they?" I'm like, "They're mine."
Yeah. You could have bought them, motherfuckers.
But
Can we get a pair? Because we were saying that like my engineered garments fatigues and what you're wearing like kind of are matchy.
You immediately are asking for free shit within 5 minutes. Who are you, me? You think you're me?
I'm about to ask for his old suitcases.
what size are you?
You think you Larry?
32-30. Well, 32-32, but you know.
Well,
Do I need to bulk up? Do I need to slim
They're going
down?
to be too short. No, they'll fit you in the waist, but
Perfect.
Are they all
they'll
tailored?
be too short.
They're all
Yeah.
tailored for you.
Yeah.
What's your inseam?
11 inches.
He is a short king.
I think Wikipedia says you're 5'6".
They do. I remember the doctor once said it was 5'6 3/4.
Oh, okay. So you're 5'7".
So I say 5'7".
That's science.
But you were wearing some like chunky soles that day.
Yeah, some
say
Grenson triple soles.
So I've been known to say on Grindr that I'm 5'8".
Oh, that's not like a huge lie where if you meet up with a fine young gentleman, he's going to be like, I was catfished. You know, I think you're okay.
I think there's other problems there, but
What socks are you wearing today?
Oh, wow.
We're asking about everything.
I think these are Uniqlo.
Okay. So you're a big Uniqlo guy. It's not fast fashion.
Oh,
guys.
no. They're Muji.
Ooh,
They're
another tasteful Japanese
Thinking
brand.
man's Uniqlo.
Yeah, exactly.
And my underwear are Sunspell.
Okay.
Boxer
That's
shorts.
2 weeks in a row.
Woven boxer shorts.
Well,
boxers.
Yeah, I do not like boxer briefs.
Yes,
I only
yes.
wear
I'm adding you.
woven.
I keep a list of notable box wearers. I'm adding you to that. It's me, you, Tony Soprano, and Reynolds Woodcock from Phantom Thread.
2 of those people are not real. They're fictional characters, by the way.
Yeah, but great characters nonetheless.
But tasteful bosses.
And I like that. And Brooks Brothers. I wear a lot of Brooks Brothers
They
boxers.
make great boxers.
They make great boxers.
But I think they stopped making a certain style that my brother wore. That was like I think it was like a 3-inch inside.
We're gonna have to text Michael Bastian to bring him back then.
Yeah,
I
right.
guess.
What about the undershirt?
Yeah, the T.
Oh, Sunspell.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, this is James Purse.
Okay.
I had Sunspell on earlier. This is James Purse.
And then let's talk about the jewelry, the earrings, and then the rings.
Okay, so the earrings are from Love Adorned. I have no idea.
yes.
That's where we got our ears pierced.
Right.
Did
and
you?
that's-
I don't know if you noticed, but we got our ears
Oh,
pierced
yeah.
as 35-year-old men.
Well, no, I just did it again. Like
oh, really?
I'm
The second hole?
the second hole. I mean, I did the first, I did 1 and 1 in 1984. And then
And you just moved to New York then?
Yeah, I moved in 83, but
Okay.
yeah, it was
What were you wearing? What were you rocking low-wise in 84?
hoops.
Like
Okay.
big
Small
hoops?
hoops.
Small
No,
hoops.
small. I've always liked a small hoop. Like that to me was always,
What do you think of Lawrence's? Also, who's got the smaller hoop?
I like it.
Thank you, Nick.
It's good.
I think we have we might have the same shit.
We should do a little piercing party next time you're in Soho. Let's get a second hole done or a third for you.
Are you going to do any more or is this the max? Oh, are you
I've
counting?
already- yeah.
He was counting his nips for the audience at home.
No. Start lower.
Oh, okay. All right.
I got a Prince Albert in like 2000.
Really?
Wow.
But
And
A
you're
lot of
ma-
upkeep?
well, there's a reason why. Do you want to know what the reason is why?
Yes.
We would love to know.
Because guys don't like to suck your cock when it's got a giant, ring
Sure.
inside.
It's like sucking on pennies, right?
Yeah.
right, exactly.
So it's gone now. It's been
So
removed?
it's gone. Yeah.
Was it like were you in like in a raving period then, like, or was it just like? You just wanted
I
to
think
pierce
he's
your
always
dick?
in his own period.
So my very first piercing was my navel in like 1993.
Wow.
I mean, besides earrings.
Right.
1993.
Other body mod. Yeah.
Then the PA. Then I did my nipples late, and anyway, they're all gone.
Did you do barbs or hoops?
Both, but
Wow.
like I like the barbells the best. But the problem is they get super infected. Like it's
Ugh.
and
Nipples take a long time to heal, right?
so after 10 years, and I kept getting infected. I was like,
that's not
I'm
good.
out.
Yeah.
What about the dick?
Easiest piercing, least painful.
Really?
What?
But bleeds like a motherfucker. You have to wear a condom with like a rubber band on it for like 2 days.
Like oh my god!
You have to like sleep with one on?
Because it bleeds like crazy.
Why don't you wear like a diaper or like a menstrual pad or something?
I'm sure now they've got a tampon for it. But
Yeah.
but the
Lord.
and the navel also super hard to get over the whatever period, the healing period. But this second hole also, I got those those AirPod giant things are, and they got infected like the next day. The first time I
not
used
good.
them.
Well, last time we were in Italy, my shit got.
Oh, yeah, his shit
my
was totally fucking
got
off the
torn out. It was, like,
reservation.
the stud was like in the ear.
Yeah.
Just woke up like all bloody.
Ooh.
It's hard. It's hard looking this good.
Exactly. That's the moral of the story, kids. It's very
I just wanna
difficult to
say-
look this good.
I just want to say the other notable box wearers besides Tony Soprano, Reynolds Woodcock, and myself and Nick Wooster are Yoakum from Our Legacy and
Okay.
Old Dirty Bastard.
Oh, wow. That is quite the illustrious list.
Wow.
What are we? And
Oh,
the
you
watch?
wanted to know about these.
Oh, yeah, the rings, right.
Okay, so the rings started with the Tiffany wedding band. I wasn't married. Then
You're
I
married
did,
to the game.
Wedding Stolen Valor.
Yeah. Is it like a thing where like you could pick up more guys if they think you're okay?
Exactly.
Oh.
So then I got 2 because I saw like on some Tumblr once, like some picture of like this guy with like 2 sort of rings like that. And I was like, ooh. Then I was in Japan and this super tiny one
Yeah, that's very thin.
They have lost their shape. It's from what's that place called? Foot the Coacher was this like shoe store.
Okay.
And then
You got your ring at the shoe store.
it was a shoe store. And then I had someplace make the second one.
They're all very thin. They're very tasteful.
Well, I hate
Pretty
jewelry,
subtle.
but
Really?
meanwhile, I'm wearing a shit ton of it.
Well, I'm not a shit. So you're not like one of these guys that has like all the chrome hearts.
But you
and
used
necklaces.
It used to be when you did a jumping jack, everything jingle jangled.
Yeah.
Now it's just fingers.
You can
and
hear him
ears.
coming a mile away.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been a good ninja.
Hide your brothers. Hide your husbands. Nick Wooster's coming.
Exactly.
And then the watch.
But it's an Hermes Apple Watch,
Ooh.
but I'm totally into this band, which I noticed online. Actually, I got to put a plug in for Apple. So this thing was 3 weeks away from Apple Care running out,
Mhm.
and my battery started like going where it wouldn't charge more than like
It's interesting
an
how
hour
that
at the
timing
gym.
works out.
And so they sent me a new one, and then
Free of charge.
free of charge. So
Thank you, Tim Cook.
Yeah.
which
Thank
was-
you, Tim Apple.
No, but because listen, I am such a heavy user of that shit. Like
Yeah.
I own everything, so I don't feel bad about it. But this isn't an Hermes, band. It's like theirs, but it just
It's nice.
because
I didn't even know it was an Apple Watch. I thought it was going to be some fucking Hublot or something when I didn't see the face.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've got a few watches stashed away, and I love a watch. But I'm also on a kick right now where I gained so much weight during COVID, and I've been losing.
You look
it.
great, by the
Oh
way.
no, thank you. But
How much weight did you really gain? Like 10 pounds?
Well, let's just put it this way. I'm down 18 and I still have another 10 to go.
okay. All right.
So
My man's setting goals.
but I'm doing Noom, which I am a huge.
What is new?
Yeah, please explain what
So
that is.
it's like, I saw it on TV. It's some app and it's psychology. The ads are really naff, but it's this, but I'd never tracked anything before where you track your food and you weigh in every day. And so it's data. It's all about data collection. But it's interesting because I've never done that either. I've never weighed myself every day. And so you put stuff in, and then there's these lessons that you sort of read, and I read them in the morning.
They're like
and-
mantras or
No, but it's kind of like therapy-ish. They'll
Okay.
ask you to like, how are you
so
feeling
keep the
right
body
now?
tight and the brain tight.
Well, I think they're all connected. It's
Sure.
it's like a very Joe Holder. Like
Yeah.
he's
That's Ocho system, right? That guy.
exactly. And he's like the coolest guy, but he's always been a sort of proponent of that. And I really believe that they're all interconnected. So like, your mind, your body, your spirit all have to be in sort of, if they're in alignment, then I think better things are going to happen. And so I got so out of whack with COVID, I think, because I was just sitting around like a spoiled child that couldn't get what they wanted. So
Right.
it's like, let me just eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You and us both.
What's your ultimate like comfort food? Like when you are just like, I'm going to be a piece of shit.
oh, fuck. It's not very inventive. Pizza.
Okay.
Potato chips.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
You're just
like
Nick Wooster. The
favorite
stars, they're just like us.
favorite potato chip flavor?
black pepper kettle chips.
Okay.
Those
Spicy.
are strong. Those
Yeah.
are strong.
Fragrant.
But yeah, I mean, I like dessert, but it's really about the savory. But and I eat like a 12-year-old anyway. Like I'm a little bit finicky. I'm not sort of adventurous.
Only chicken nuggets.
Dinosaur shaped.
I do enjoy a chicken nugget from the Whole Foods across the street.
Hell yeah.
I mean,
They
who
have
doesn't?
really good ones. But Mexican food. I mean, actually, no. Can I tell you what I was having every day
Please do.
on
Yes.
my way home from the gym? Toasted pumpernickel bagel with vegetable cream cheese.
Wow.
Like
Vegetable cream cheese.
That's a banger. That's a nice
Oh.
order. Not what I would order, but I would eat that and I would enjoy it.
oh fuck, it's so good.
You're a New Yorker at heart, dude.
Exactly.
Bagels and pizza.
Bagels. Nick, are you still paying $31,000 a year on fitness as you were quoted as spending in the New York Times?
The paper of record.
The first time I got
Maybe
my
the
first
biggest fucking
cancellation.
flex.
Wait, were people like, did people come at you
really?
for that?
Oh, they came at me.
What?
Like,
Because
people-
you're
I shut the
fucking doing
comments
well and you
off.
care about yourself?
No, and it was, it's like, oh, people are waiting for their checks, and how could you talk about that? It's like, oh my god, for fuck's sake.
So over under 31K right now. We still doing that?
Ooh,
yes.
okay. All right. That's a no
and
comment.
it's working.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, listen, I am a hugest there. Well, so anyway, those pictures of Bezos that came out,
Right.
and then there was like some story and something about like whatever they call it, not DNA hacking. They called it some sort of like biohacking.
Biohacking, yeah.
And then there's some book and some like website to like figure out your age.
Yeah.
So my bio age is 45.
Not bad.
Well, but only because I'm doing like the things that
because you're spending 3 racks
doing.
or excuse me, 30 racks.
But I spent the least in that article, and I'm the one that got singled out. I was clickbait.
Well, you were the lead because they were like, look at this hot fashion consultant.
Exactly.
Right?
I was so fat.
You were the face of privilege.
Was that the only time you've been canceled or dragged?
that I'm aware of.
Well, we still have about 3 hours to go
Yeah,
on this podcast.
you did drop an F-bomb within 30 seconds, which is great.
But that's
Love
okay.
that.
That's your word.
Yeah, you could do whatever you want, man.
How much would you guess we each spend on fitness a year?
I would say you spend exactly what you want.
What a diplomatic gift. This man is never getting canceled ever again.
So for $0 for Lawrence.
Yeah, zero. I mean, there's a gym in my building.
Yeah, exactly.
Easy.
What do you look? You look really good, Lawrence.
Thank you. I appreciate
It's the
that.
burly beard.
Yeah, I'm growing the beard out,
Oh, and real quick, is that a complete fit check?
Yeah, I think we did everything,
Drink
right?
check, water,
Yeah.
Fiji
Fiji.
on
Well,
the wrist.
Well,
It was actually from the whatchamacallit.
Right.
What did they call it? Brita.
Brita. Yeah.
Oh, you filled up the Fiji bottle with the
No,
Brita?
this just came from my appointment. I mean, I think it was sitting here. It was in my pocket.
Yeah, this man's not buying plastics, one-use plastics.
Are you the type of person to go to a showroom appointment and just like take the bottle of water and just shove it in pockets like us?
Kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, you got to take advantage of it.
I certainly do that at hotels. I was also a huge plastic straw user because I drink only iced coffee. I
You and me
made
both,
it
man.
The night before.
Year round?
Year round.
But you make it.
Well, I do.
You cold brew it. Okay.
I do.
Respect.
Well, no. See that machine over there? I like
Right.
make it in a pot and
hit a
then
button.
let it sit overnight.
Yeah.
Because if you
That's
do
old
it,
school.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I've been doing
See, he's
that.
not privileged. He's just like the rest of us, like we said.
But I used to be a huge plastic bottle user too. And it was during COVID. I just that's when I bought the Brita first time. I was like, yeah, this isn't a good idea. And I even have those like corn husk straws now.
Oh, I hate those, but
No,
yeah.
the corn husk ones
No,
aren't bad.
they're not bad.
The
They're
bamboo
not
ones
bad.
are nice.
The paper ones are the
Oh,
fucking
get
worst.
them the fuck out of
Right.
here, dude. I'd rather kill a sea turtle than use a plastic straw. 100%. I'm not even
I would
lying.
sip a sea turtle's blood
Yeah.
through that straw. But the paper straw is trash. The corn husk ones and the bamboo and the bucatini as well. Go
I
to
don't know
Italy.
what that is.
Oh, it's just like hollow pasta.
Oh.
That's why there's a shortage. Everyone's using it for straws.
What do you listen to when you work out? What's on your gym playlist? We're in the interview portion of the podcast.
Yeah, we're doing the show now.
So I have, in addition to my really limited food palette, I have a very specific music genre that is it's all one note and it's all one way. House music.
Oh,
really?
All house music all
From
the
your,
time.
From your Prince Albert days.
Yeah, from your clubbing years.
Before that. Yeah, I mean, like so I stopped going to clubs in 1995.
Okay.
Damn.
But I
A
started
day that will live in infamy.
But I started in 1977.
Yeah.
So I listened to music from the years 1977 to 1995.
What was your favorite club in New York?
Well, too many to mention, but it was so Area was the first club that I went to.
That's
and
iconic.
It was like,
yeah.
Paradise Garage was incredible. The Saint, and then
Limelight.
We had Limelight. We had Palladium.
The Tunnel?
I was at the opening of both of
did you ever go to
those.
the Tunnel?
I was actually at the opening of the Tunnel, which is
Fire.
literally like right. Well,
The last time you heard hip hop.
maybe.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a few house remixes. in the
Yeah.
playlist.
Okay, so house music is that's the only thing you're listening to when you're getting buff.
More or less.
Okay.
More or less.
He knows what he likes. I respect it.
Are you focusing at the gym or are you kind of like checking out the talent?
I am so distracted.
It's the new club. The gym is the new club for you. Let's be real.
No, it's the office. So that was the thing. I'd literally been training because obviously my travel's been cut back. I mean, I did travel quite a bit in 2021, but like starting in September of 2020, when gyms were open, I literally would go 5 or 6 days a week. So it's the office.
For like networking purposes, you mean?
No. Just because I work out with a guy and I love my trainer. He's 6'4". He's like my big younger brother.
We should do a video.
Little
where
big brother.
We should do a video where we go training with Nick Wooster and your trainer.
Yeah.
And then we just fucking
For free,
die.
obviously. We can't
Yeah, exactly.
afford 30 G's a month.
Well,
or
you know,
anything,
it's so funny. there is some content in the ether. So Chris Black tried to do that, or not tried, so did that for GQ with George Cortina and I at this place that I go to. And then it was like literally, it was the last day gyms were open, was the day we shot it. And then they never ran it, obviously, because
George Cortina, another buff older gentleman.
And one of my oldest friends.
Yeah. Is he still just living at the Chateau Marmont?
So he's still living in LA, and he isn't living actually I was there at the beginning of December. He's not actually staying at the Chateau, but he lives at the Chateau.
Right. He gets like privileges that a normal civilian wouldn't get. He's the mayor of the Chateau.
He wears him, Lucas Abad, and Jack Nicholson's son.
Duke Nicholson. Yeah.
Yeah. He wears his pajamas all day and like, yes.
What a fucking legend, dude.
Absolutely. Speaking of legends, Nick, I think I might know the answer to this question. Are you the most street style person of all time?
Honestly, don't try to be humble. Like literally think about the numbers.
Do the back of the napkin math in your head.
Well, let's just say, I mean, it's so funny. I don't think I am, but I think I'm up there. How's that?
Do you have a favorite individual specific street style photo of yourself?
Yeah. And you do have a lot of photos of yourself in your apartment, which I appreciate.
Well, because different people have given me or made art for me.
Like fan art or whatever.
Well, right. And then, you got to check out my bathroom. My bathroom is all fan art.
Oh, your bathroom. Yeah, we were using the guest room, which is all
the
family stuff.
The rugby boys.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
right behind that.
What the favorite street style photo of yourself? Do you have one?
I do. I have no idea who took it. And it's just a picture of me in a navy blue pinstripe suit.
Simple, classic.
Timeless.
Super simple. Well, because this is actually the thing that we started to speak about when you guys came in. And it's kind of what's been on my mind. So I owe the hugest debt of gratitude to Neiman Marcus for their dress code, because that dress code, which I, chafed at from the second, like I knew that I was going to have to do it, which was a suit or a jacket and a tie every day. It's like, fuck, I'd been living in LA for like the 7 years prior. And also it was 2010. Like nobody was wearing suits in those days, but hashtag menswear was happening. And I am convinced that because of that Neiman Marcus dress code, it was like the right thing at the right time. But those pictures always look a billion times better than all the fashion shit that I wear.
Right. Like the skirts.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I love those pictures and I love those clothes and I like to wear those.
There's one of you wearing like a steampunk top hat.
Yeah. In the New York Post article that talked about your exit from JCPenney. We were doing our research, obviously, but you look like fucking Doctor Who.
I mean,
Dr. Robotnik with the mustache.
I mean, there are some definite misses in that, through the years, but like
shoot or shoot though.
Yeah, exactly. You miss every shot you don't take.
Exactly. But the thing that's interesting to me is that I am, and I think this trip in particular, although I've got some whack fashion too, whacked out fashion.
Yeah.
But,
don't say whack, wacky. Nothing you wear is
I'll
whack.
have something that'll, be questionable, but I will also have some suits for the first time in a long time.
Interesting.
This trip.
Yeah, this trip, because I'm really into the idea of like wearing a jacket and a shirt again, even because I literally no.
How will this iteration of menswear be different than the iteration where you kind of first rose to prominence in like the 2010 to 2016, 14 era?
I guess we're going to find out. I mean, here's the thing. I haven't sort of figured it out. All I know is I'm bringing a gray and a navy suit that I haven't worn a gray flannel or a navy suit in a long time.
Not even Tom Brown?
I haven't worn Tom Brown in a long time either, but yes.
Because you're not a little boy going to
But he loved a short suit to show off the fucking leg tat.
And
what you got before he pussied out.
Major shorts, some major comb shorts coming that'll be on this trip. But
big boys?
Oh my God. Literally, they're a pair of Prince of Wales plaid shorts that are made out of coat fabric.
Wow. Amazing.
I'll show them to you on the way out. It's it's going to be one of those questionable ones for sure, but I don't care. I like it.
What's the street style photo of yourself that you cannot despise every time, or you do despise every time it pops up?
Yeah,
online.
The worst of the bunch.
We don't have to name the photographer.
Well, again,
I don't know. Tommy.
I don't know who took it. So, and I haven't seen this in a while. So there was a picture of me at Pitti, had to have been like, I think I might have even been at JCPenney then, or it may have been right after. So it was either 2012 or 2013. And I'm wearing it's the cover of a magazine that I actually have back in my, it was the cover of some like thing, but khaki shirt, khaki tie, these mountain research camo shorts, wingtips.
You're looking like you're going on a safari.
But somebody took that picture and colorized it red.
Oh no.
And it's like, what? It's just like some weird. So it looks like I have a red shirt and a red tie. Like I've never, but they literally took this picture and colorized it.
Yeah. Looking like Robert Palmer or some shit.
So it's really, that's really
why would
bad.
someone fuck with the fucking art like that? God, Jesus.
Well, it's interesting to see, like, it sounds like this trip that you're about to embark on, Pitti Uomo, Paris, you're really kind of like recontextualizing like what you're going to be doing or setting the platform, setting the stage for 2022. So we talked about loving the return of #menswear
or the tailoring
version
aspects,
of it. Yeah. Is that, besides that, are there any other trends you're seeing right now that you kind of want to lean into or that you're at least like loving from afar?
I mean, I purposely didn't. The last January Pitti that I went to was January of 2020, and that trip I consciously did not wear sneakers. I had worn sneakers for the past 5 years or so, like exclusively, and I think the difference now is boots. I think boots have become for me the sneaker of 2022. And again, all kinds. I really can't figure out how I'm going to pack because I really don't know whether it's going to be.
Yeah.
Well, boots take a lot of room.
Very heavy.
They're heavy as fuck. But
you know what you should do? Stuff your boots with your underwear and socks. Seriously.
No, seriously.
So make it heavier.
And then on the way back, stuff them with your dirty cloths.
Right. No, I've definitely done that.
Yeah, this man I think doesn't need any packing.
No. I'm always good for. It's always interesting. Listen, I've got lots to learn, but the
okay.
I'm just trying to think out loud. No, because boots are a problem because I like them.
Yeah. What's your current boot lineup?
Well, I did a collaboration with this brand Scaroso, so I'm into this kind of tall Chelsea boot with a super heavy Vibram sole. So I did them in black, brown, white, dark hunter green, and leopard.
Oh wow. Real shit kickers.
So they have been like, but I was wearing today when we walked in, I worked with this brand Onitsuka Tiger, which they have like a brand, the Onitsuka, and it's this thing called the WeGurv. And anyway, I actually posted them on Instagram today, and I was actually wearing them today. Like they're so great for this kind of weather.
They're like a little bit more technical, boots versus
they look
like
kind of like a tech LL Bean boot or something.
Yeah.
But they're not. I mean, they're not at all trying to be that. But
so we're off sneakers and onto boots. We're bringing back tailoring in a tasteful way. Anything else that you're really excited for in 2022?
Since I lost some weight again, I feel like I can wear a shirt again, a woven shirt, because like there was such a period where I couldn't do that. Oh, I'm actually going to have a fitting of my prototype shirt at Charvet when I'm in Paris next week.
Okay.
So when I was there in November, I went for my first whatever consultation. And because that's the other thing.
Is that made to measure or like bespoke?
No, it's going to be bespoke.
Wow. Okay.
Because, well, I mean, we'll see. But I'm going to also, I've never had a suit made. That's going to happen this year too. Never.
I find that surprising.
That's not true. They shit, what's it called?
It's okay. We don't need to give out free plugs.
Anyway, there somebody did make a couple of people have made to measure for me, but I've never had I'm going to go to London and
you're going to do the Savile Row experience.
I am
the real deal. That's going to be fucking fun.
Yeah,
save some room in your suitcase. How much shopping do you do when you travel? A lot.
A lot.
Okay. Do you bring an empty bag?
Always. So yes.
You should stuff that in your boot.
So at Selfridges, they have these bags that fold up onto themselves, and it's like the biggest size duffel bag that you can
fire.
Yeah.
It's like a fancy IKEA bag.
Yeah.
Are there any trends you're seeing out there that you definitely want people to leave behind in 2021? Trends that you fucking hate?
Yeah.
Well, this will make me really unpopular. Well, no, I just think that it's like fashion did such a disservice to itself by, the sneaker hoodie era, which again, lots of companies, I'm sure, have done
And
very
you're
well.
talking about luxury houses, kind of like
that like sort of, and here's the thing, that's great. And I love a hoodie with a tailored suit or something, like the contrast, it's all great.
The juxtaposition you appreciate in theory.
But the fact that it just went all like that way, and that's like what, when you see a runway show and then you see a brand and they don't actually in their store or online have what they've shown,
right?
But instead they have the hoodies and the
like logo
hats.
Shit or whatever.
It kind of is disappointing because it doesn't sort of
doesn't speak to you. You're not that customer.
I'm not
right?
that customer, but believe me, I've had more than my share of designer sneakers, designer hoodies. I don't really wear caps, but certainly
right. Your hair
whatever.
Is too good for a hat.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, so I'm happy to see this move forward. I don't want to say on. But
Also, it's kind of like leave the hoodies and the sneakers to the brands that do the hoodies and the sneakers,
right,
instead of like trying to put that, fucking high end house with a capital H, trying to make it themselves and not doing it correctly necessarily.
Right. Because like if I'm going to wear a hoodie, it's going to be Palace or
right,
or I mean, just because like that's what it should be.
Sure.
For me, but that's only for me.
Well, Nick, you've been throwing fits, getting big fits off since your days on the plains of Kansas. When you look back on your personal style, and I know that it's evolved and shifted throughout the years, is there one phase you can't help but just absolutely cringe at?
Well, when I was in high school was the disco phase. So obviously that's pretty cringeworthy.
That got phased out over time. Those 70s sexy sleeves we've been talking a lot on the pod is coming back.
We're big fans.
In a big way.
But it's all about body type. If you have that body type, which for me is like long and lean, there's nothing better.
Harry Styles type guys.
Right. Because like a flared pant or something, flared velvet pant looks amazing on if you have that kind of
but not
frame,
if you're 5'8",
but not on me.
5'6" and 3/4.
Well, 5'8" on Grinder. Right. We got to give the Grinder bump.
Grinder. We got to use Grinder inches.
Does everything extend by 1.5 inches on Grinder?
I think it does. At least. I guess it depends on which conversion chart you use.
Sure, totally.
Know your angles.
Yes, where you do your location settings to.
What were we talking about? 70 sexy sleeve.
Yeah, so disco was for
so
you.
Disco,
You like cringe at those pictures.
but I was preppy in those days, so that was
And you're in what are we talking about? High school, like
like 70.
Which wasn't that long ago. You're still a young man.
I graduated from high school in 1978. I will have been out of college 40 years this year, which is mind-boggling.
Science says though you have the body of a 45-year-old though. So
So but yeah, and I'll be 62 this year, which is like nuts.
Really?
Yeah.
You mean you already turned 60? So it's like
that was COVID. The thing that was so hilarious.
We'll give you a year back.
Well, the thing that's so funny is they say that whatever your Chinese astrology year is supposed to be bad luck for you.
Okay.
Well, 2020 was the year of the rat, and I was a rat.
Damn.
So I didn't know it was going to be bad for everyone else too.
So it's your fault. You're taking the blame.
I'm taking the hit on that.
So in high school you were prep. Then what was your like college years? What were you
prep
through college?
Prep through college.
And did you come to New York after college?
Prep.
When did we get out of prep?
Well, in a way, I don't feel like I ever have, because I actually think Comme des Garçons is one of the preppiest lines in the world because it's rooted in something classic.
Right.
But obviously, first years in New York, experimented. There was a brand called Parachute, which would be so good for a revival. It was very like an upside down triangle.
Okay.
Like really wide shoulders, tiny waist, lots of like buckles and, but it was like that triangle.
Good
silhouette.
for a guy your shape who's like, broad and buff.
Anyway, it was again, not a good look for me. But
okay. Maybe
it kind of went with like big hair and, I mean, in a way, I don't feel like I've ever really veered too far from prep. Except that's
what grounds like everything.
Yeah. I mean so then when I was became a buyer, so in the late 80s, when I finally was a buyer, first at Barney's and then at Bergdorf's, you have to understand in those days, it was Giorgio Armani and Dolce & Gabbana. And when I tell you this, Dolce & Gabbana, the very first season of Dolce & Gabbana Men's, which was fall of 1990, was fucking amazing. It was really beautiful. And it was like oversized patchwork jackets, gray flannel. Like, it was very tasteful. And it was a kind of,
not the D&G we know of now.
Yeah.
had nothing to do with that.
How the mighty have fallen.
You know, and it was like, and the closing of that show was all these different trouser bodies, silhouettes with a wife beater, and like sort of some had, you know, suspenders hanging down, and it was like, it was sexy, but it was also kind of preppy. It wasn't.
It sounds very masculine.
It was super masculine, and it wasn't trashy, and it wasn't flashy, and it wasn't shiny. It was none of the things that I associate with it today. But that was a kind of look that and it was a cropped sweater, like a cropped ribbed sweater that was good for somebody built like me.
You finally found your body type, you know, way to dress in 1990. Crazy Dolce & Gabbana.
Well, Romeo Gigli and Dolce & Gabbana were perfect for people like me in those days.
So is that kind of what set the ground for the 90s for you?
Well, then I worked at Calvin first and then Ralph. And so those were, again, easy to fall into sort of the gestalt of what it was.
Right.
And it was.
Did you wear head to toe Ralph while working at Ralph, or did most people do that were there?
Oh, yeah. So here's
or vintage, I guess, right?
So this is like the deal. This is how it works at Ralph. Yes, you need to wear Ralph at Ralph, except for some people and sometimes they want you to wear other things, but it comes with so there's like
a seniority thing.
It has, and also like I worked in design, like concept design.
Right.
So we were sort of like, that was part of the job, was you should be doing these things, but it was always a Russian roulette sort of situation. So Ralph would come in for a meeting and he'd look at you and he'd be like, what is that? And, you know, if you told him it's Prada, there's one of two possible answers that could happen. One is, see, this is what I'm talking about. Lawrence knows what's going on, and he's the coolest guy, and we need to have more of this kind of thing.
Okay. That's the desired reaction.
Or what? You don't like the way I'm a billionaire. You don't like my clothes? Like,
what did you get more
short
of?
Jewish man syndrome.
I got both, but I learned early on the only acceptable answer, vintage.
Vintage. There you go.
That's okay.
That'll please everybody, even the king.
But the thing with Ralph is, and this is why I loved, I mean, it's such an amazing company on so many levels because they make everything.
Yeah.
It would, I mean, and Ralph loves to get up just as much as I do. So like you can easily go from whatever you're feeling, you know, banker to, you know, ranch hand in one fell swoop. And it's really authentic. And that's what was so great. That is what's so great about Ralph Lauren, is that it's like encyclopedic in its, you know, ability.
It's like exhaustive almost, you know, in terms of like the lines that exist in. Yeah.
For so long, like their archives. I mean, I worked there 27 years ago, and it was exhaustive and incredibly huge back then.
Yeah.
And they just keep doing it, you know, and
that's why he's the greatest of all time, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
After Ralph, you pierced your dick. And then what was your style like?
I was living in
2000s?
when I lived in LA, it was very James Purse. Like it was very slouchy t-shirt. I was fit as fuck. And I, you know, nobody loves shorts. One thing that I used to do.
You do love a short.
Because it was like wearing a skirt. Like, I mean, from the time I was a kid, I wanted to wear shorts all year round, which I didn't. But in LA, I always wore shorts basically year round, but I loved shorts and shoes. Mm-hmm. That was kind of like my thing, because
not sneakers.
Never. Because if you're going to be super casual, it's got to be. So I've
got to elevate something.
Right. So like trickers and shorts and a t-shirt were my uniform living in LA.
Did you like invent that look? Or did you see someone else? Did you observe that and you're like, oh, I'm going to pilfer?
I mean, it's interesting. I would sort of credit to Ralph Lauren. It was a very Ralph Lauren thing to wear a hacked off chino and wingtips, and, you know, which is also
with socks,
without socks.
Okay.
You know, Richard Phibbs took this iconic picture. It was one of his first like real jobs when he shot some double RL, and he did this thing. We were just talking about it a couple months ago, sort of by accident, but he took the selvage gene and then had, I don't know if they were his or somebody's pair of wingtips, and he just threw them on this guy, and it was just like a crop from the knee down. And, and I think that really set the tone for, a way to look. Like, it was kind of, for me, the perfect aesthetic of like traditional, classic, elevated, fucked up.
With a bit of fuck you.
Yeah.
And a little bit of that too.
The Ralph Lauren special secret sauce or recipe or whatever.
So I mean, it's always been at the base of everything that I care about. And then, then hashtag menswear, Neiman Marcus. But then as soon as I was able to sort of break away from that I've gone really, and, Tom Brown for sure. But I have to say, I have gone comb crazy in the last, 10 years. Like I cannot get enough of that stuff.
You're a super fan.
Super fan.
Rah for Ray Ray. So is there one phase you look back and cringe at, or are you like, you stand by everything, all the Nick Wooster chapters?
Well, it's interesting because the pictures that anyone would be able to access and pull up for this purpose of this discussion would be on the internet. So it would have been from the last 12 years or so. And there are definitely some cringeworthy sort of, trying to think what exactly.
Like specific outfits.
Yeah, specific outfits, not like the totality of what you were wearing. Steampunk top hat. This man stands by his phases and his fits.
Well,
you got to respect it.
Hats are a problem. There was another one where I don't remember. I was standing in front of a Michael Bastian show, and it was right before having to get on a plane to go to Las Vegas during the February menswear, and it was one of those things where like the
trade show
started in the middle of the thing, and I was standing outside on 10th Avenue, whatever that space is, like on the 30s.
Yeah, he used to have all shows there. Yeah.
And I had on some Tom Brown sweater and this hat that like literally looked like someone's grandma's hat that I took a wool flower and put inside the hat, which made it.
You were doing too much.
Like, it was really bad. Like, it was really bad.
We're going to find that.
It exists. It would have either been 2011 or 2012, February.
There you go. Lawrence, do your Googles.
I want to find this shit.
As someone who's kind of lived through it all and seen it all, what was the best era in fashion for doing drugs and partying? Which, now you're sober.
Yeah.
But during your
it was
sniffing
the one
days.
It was the one that I was in, which was the 80s to early 90s.
I'm fucking sure. What brand back then would supply the best drugs at their parties? Was it Calvin?
It's a very leading question.
I really shouldn't say that. I was known to have been high when I was at Calvin, like from the night before,
I mean, it happens. Yeah.
Sometimes that's when you do your best work, though.
Right. And it certainly happened at Ralph. I went to rehab in the middle of my time at Ralph. So again, I'm super grateful for that and grateful that I'm still sober.
Is it hard to be in fashion and like going to all these events and everything, which is an industry that is like very drug and alcohol and party heavy? Like, is it hard to remain sober while participating in all that?
Well, it's not for me now, but it probably was back then. And so I didn't do it. I just took myself out of it.
Really?
So
you stopped going to the social events and the circuits and everything?
Basically. Yeah. So
you kind of had to. You had like no choice.
I had no choice because 95 to 2000 was Ralph, but then I started working with John Bartlett in 97. And, we obviously did things, and I also did some things, but no, I took myself out of that. I went to my first event, or I went to an event at Twilo, which used to be Sound Factory. And when it was Sound Factory, it was fantastic. and I literally was there for like 20 minutes. I'm like, I got to get out of here.
Eject. Yeah.
Because I just,
too much temptation, too much triggering.
Right. It was very triggery. But yeah, I don't know how kids do it. Like, cause there's a lot of young people that get sober, which is amazing. But that's now, like I said, now it's not a problem. I don't care. Right. I just don't want to go. But That's not true. Sometimes I want to go. I do.
You want to be invited.
I want to get it. Yeah. And I get FOMO. I get a lot of FOMO every once in a while. I'm like, oh, I wish I got invited to that. And then I'm like, but I wouldn't have gone. So I don't know why.
Sure.
You know.
But exactly, it's the invite that matters.
Yeah. So if any brands are listening, kiss the ring, invite this man, but don't expect him to show up.
But yeah. See, I'm the perfect person. You should always invite me because I'll never show up, except for that one time when I do, and then you'll be so pissed.
You'll be scrambling. Get a plate.
Right. Fuck. He's here.
Get a kombucha.
Yeah.
Nick, we only ask big questions on this podcast that have to do with drugs and sobriety and everything. But as a man that once again has lived through it all, seen it all, worn it all,
worked with all the goats,
we got to know, who are your top 5 brands / designers of all time?
Unranked.
Personally speaking.
We got Comb.
Ray Kawakubo.
Mhm.
Yep.
Sakai.
All right. We're in
the Comb family still, in the Comb universe.
Yeah,
You got Junior. I'm just going to name every Comb guy.
Gosha
and woman.
Well, no, I'm gonna. But
all Nippon.
Junior is part of Comb.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
That's, I'm calling the Comb universe. Fuck. This is going to so get me in trouble. I got to go with Hiroki.
Sure.
I mean, it's just,
Mr. Nakamura.
It's so, I mean, he is so unbelievable. That's who should take over Ralph Lauren.
Oh, really? Wow.
I mean,
is that a hot take?
Well, no, I'm just free.
Ralph is never going to die, so it doesn't matter.
I know, right? I was
He's like the Queen of England.
Is Ralph on this list? Wow. I'm surprised.
I mean,
that's a pregnant pause.
No. Ralph has got to be on this list.
It's your list. He doesn't have to be on
Ralph is on the list. Absolutely. I'm just feeling like.
Are we counting Sakai as part of Comb as well, as a little cheat?
I think we need to.
All right.
do
So
that.
we got 2 slots.
Do you own a lot of Viz?
I don't. I own some, but I have to say it's a figure thing. It's like, because as I've gained weight, I've found that I have to,
But you fucking slim.
Well, I'm still not there yet, but I own pieces.
Okay.
For sure.
Mainly
I own
footwear?
some major pieces.
Like footwear, or
And I still own some
Or like
footwear,
the big
but I also
fucking robes.
Well, I've got a robe. I've got a tailcoat, which it's so good. I still have one pair of FBTs.
the last FBTs in America.
I can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I've gotten rid of several of them.
Right. You've whittled it down, and it's the final.
But
all right, so we're 60% of the way there, right? So Ralph is on the list?
Ralph is on the list.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Ralph, Comb Universe, Hiroki. Almost there.
2 slots. Choose wisely, my friend.
I know. I really hate this question.
That's how you know it's good. Yoji? Tom Brown? I'm just going to throw some names out.
No, I mean, there's no question that both Tom and Yoji are
Masters.
Icons.
I mean, unbelievable. Yeah.
Calvin Klein?
Calvin was such a moment, but unfortunately that moment passed. But it was
Nick Wooster?
no.
Yeah, yourself?
Absolutely not.
Would you ever be
Okay.
so bold?
No, absolutely. Fuck no.
If you had, we would have just ended the
Okay.
podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're done here.
Actually, I want to do these as groups, because what I was going to say is that
It's your show.
because in a way they're the same. They're not the same thing, but they are the same thing. RTH
Okay.
and Capital,
Interesting.
because of retail. They are 2 of the most astonishing retail driven things that I've ever seen.
You have to experience the brand in person.
The
That's
Capital
right, yeah.
retail experience is, well, I've never been to RTH, but the Capital retail experience is second to none.
Yeah.
No, and so is RTH, who's now he's.
Do they only have one store?
Yeah, it's one, right? Or is it?
It was, although he did have one in Tokyo for a minute. So he's relocated now from his original shop in LA to Palm Springs, and I have not been to that one yet.
Fire.
I went to the old store, and it was beautiful. It was sick.
I mean, but they represent why they're the same, and why, I mean, they're not the same, but why they are the same is because
Cousins.
it's an experience,
Right.
And it's something,
An immersive experience.
It's retail driven.
Yeah.
but the product is also so intelligent and thought out.
Mhm.
And
Capital is like, that's how they get you. It's like you get in there and you're just like, I need to bring a piece of this vibe home with me.
Yeah.
No matter what the price tag is.
Sure.
Which also is a lot lower than you expect in Japan.
Yeah.
right. And I mean, again, they have some crazy expensive things that you're like, really? But then and they do. And RTH the same. Like, it's not super expensive. And that's because there's something that goes on like at the, sort of the highest end that is really offensive to me, which is like offensive pricing. And I don't want to call out names, but you know, there's certain things that I excuse me that you look
Fuck
at the
him,
price
Joe.
tag and you're like, really? Like, how? Like,
why?
like, wow. Like,
Does not compute.
you know, so, and again, I am all for beautiful clothes. Okay, here's going to be the last name.
Last one,
Okay.
last slot.
Bated breath.
Jill Sander.
Wow.
Mm.
The queen.
Well, and because like today, Uniqlo is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, she really was the original sort of like minimalist that they all
Yeah.
wish they could be.
Every Plus J drop, like even now that this collaboration, well, it took a pause for a minute, obviously, but it's people line up still for every new drop for that stuff.
Do you like
And I
what
get
the
it.
Myers are doing
yes,
at Jill Sander?
very much.
And kind of bringing like a bit of a supreme sensibility to it?
Very much. I am going to do a runner-up,
Okay.
Please.
Love that.
Top 6.
Yeah.
Mucha Prada.
Oh, sure. Of course. Speaking of queens.
Because the thing about that, and sometimes I don't get tickets to the show, whatever. But you know, but
Big
the
huge
thing,
if you're listening.
Yeah.
but the thing, I think I'm getting one this time, but probably
Fingers
it's
crossed.
probably a mistake.
Standing.
I mean, I'll believe when I see it. But the thing is, like, when you go to a market appointment there, if you have the opportunity to work for a store that buys it, it's a religious experience. Like, that place is unbelievable. And even if you don't like the runway, they make some of the most beautiful classic clothes
Yeah.
on the planet.
Mhm.
Yep.
Again, kind of in the Jill Sander, Ralph Lauren mode of just beautiful clothes. Like, there's always some, and the taste and the quality is like beyond. The lunch is beyond.
Do you like the raft stuff for men's?
Okay.
Next question.
Okay. We heard you loud and clear. Okay. All right. That's a little surprising.
It's like I do and I don't. Like, I don't.
You're not spending your money on it.
But you know what I do still have quite a bit of, and I really loved it, was the Ralph Calvin.
oh, yes.
The very first season.
Very underrated,
Those
right?
cashmere sweaters were amazing.
Yeah. It's a shame that didn't work out. It was sick.
It was really good, and it is a
And you look
shame.
so close to it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
But yeah,
Don't give his address away.
no, but the thing is, like, I don't, I can't say that I connect so much, but there's nothing like a black Prada,
Right.
nylon bomber jacket.
Sure.
Like, who doesn't want to have that?
Right.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Are there any brands you would never work with or personally wear, no matter how big the bag might be, whether it's for like political reasons or like it, or if it would tarnish like the Nick Wooster brand?
Yeah.
Well, sure.
Like Donald
Like
Trump
Philip
merch?
Klein or something, or
Well, here's the
Oshkosh
thing.
bagosh.
I mean, I think
Throwing Fits merch?
I'll never forget. I was approached once, not officially, like there was never an offer, but it was like more of a question, like
a feeler.
would you ever? And I was like, for $1 million.
Who is it? Could he say?
I probably shouldn't say. Like
did
I said,
did they pony up a mill?
no, and they didn't do it. And but I said, like, I really.
It's
shouldn't
okay.
say.
You shouldn't say,
Can I ask him-
because who knows? You might need $1 million at some
Well,
point.
no,
and it might
I
come
would be
knocking.
happy to take $1 million. And if this brand were to offer $1 million, I would do it.
Right.
So do you is it a sliding pay
It's a
scale?
footwear brand.
Okay.
Is it a sliding pay scale of like if a brand is like fucking shitty or like doesn't match like your brand, like you're going to charge higher?
Well, it's
Gotta
not that
pay to
I'm going
play.
to charge higher. I can assure you that they're going to offer higher.
Right. They know. They already know.
Right. And it's always a fine line. Like it's always a fine line.
Can I ask a very gauche question?
Sure.
As if none of these questions have been gauche up until this point.
What is the biggest singular bag you've gotten for a fit pick?
Oh, just a fit pick. You don't want him to show his hand. I mean, this is his livelihood. Six
That's the next
figures,
question.
probably, I would imagine. If I had
Nothing
to
north of
guesstimate.
7 figures.
$1 million Fitbit?
Bro, who know? I don't know.
There's never been a 7 million. There's never been a 7-figure.
Let's
there's never been a
manifest that
6
for 2022.
But 5 is,
Okay. All right. There you go. I like that.
Nick, I do want to ask a question that we see get asked a lot, and we can give our own answers to the question when kids ask us. But for like a kid that is just starting out and starting to develop their own sense of style, and now that they have the entire world available to them on their phone, what would you tell this kid that's like questioning how they should start developing their own personal style?
Yeah. How to even begin.
So this is probably going to be an old person answer.
Because with us, it's like we're like, yo, you have to like go and experience it. And
You got to
looking
live
back
your
on the
fucking
years,
life, man. Yeah.
all the years of mistakes and wins that we've tallied up to this point, that is what's like developed our
The fact that it's a
collective personal sense of
journey,
style.
never a destination.
Absolutely. But here's the thing, but you did something, and I think that I should never generalize and I should never assume, but it seems to me that there's a segment of young people who maybe aren't as interested in doing the sort of the footwork that it takes to get started or putting the foot in the door, because you guys, worked in PR and you worked with brands and you worked with, people who came before you that had done this for a while too.
We worshipped at the altars of greatness.
Well,
Who's God? Yeah.
but
we pray to the who's God. May I never break a fit, dear Lord.
Our Zaddy who art in heaven.
Well, no, not in heaven. He's alive. Yeah.
But the thing that was so scary about that was I was 50 fucking years old and I had been around the block, discarded, and then started up again. Like, it was so crazy that no one was more surprised than I was, that because I really thought in my 40s when I couldn't get arrested. And, that's part of the story of, so my 30s and 20s and 30s, my career was on fire. And then it's like I couldn't get arrested in my 40s, which is usually when most people's career take off.
Mhm.
I'm basically do everything wrong, ass backwards. But so no one was more surprised than me. But the thing was, I knew that I'd done so much before. So it wasn't like, I don't know. I mean, I guess in some way, it's not that I want to say I felt entitled, but I felt like, okay, I can have a seat at the table, even if people were like, who the fuck is this person? And today I know that there are people that I've said, or that people have said, like, who the fuck are these people? And, I don't ever want to give God bless, like everyone should have a seat at the table.
Right.
But I just think it's more interesting when there's something behind it,
For sure.
And so I tell people to start, work in a store. And of course, nobody wants to do that.
Right.
And I know that it's
Speaking of entitlement, that's Gen Z, right? I don't want to work retail. Or they think they're above it.
And here's the thing. I don't want to work retail either. But like in 2004, after I'd been fired from, I did this, I wrote this chapter for an anthology, a book. And it's going to come out sometime in like February or March. And that's where I mentioned you, Lawrence. But,
Thank you.
I've had shit. I can't remember the number now. If it was 29 or 30, I had 29 jobs, W-2 jobs from 1976 to 2013.
That's a lot.
From the time I was 16 until
all within fashion, would you say, or fashion media?
All fashion to in advertising.
Right.
How many times do you think I got fired?
25.
Well, no, 9.
9. Okay.
So a total of 37.5%. And trust me, I would have been fired from, had I stuck around longer, I would have been fired from
some
more.
of those are like,
saw the writing on the wall.
you got out while getting was good.
Right. I was able to sort of like
So
leverage.
Is developing your personal sense of style, is it really just like you have to live it and you
live a
have to
life?
Yes. Yes. And here's the thing. You have to be educated. I mean, let's just say that, if some people know that they have an athletic ability or an ability to play an instrument I knew how to dress myself. Like that's the skill that I brought to the table. So I knew that I had, let's say, an aptitude, but even I had to So I'll never forget, like the very first buying appointment I ever went on was with Peter Rizzo at Barney's, New York, 1987. It was I was a suit buyer in those days, and it was, and the way you buy suits is you choose swatches. So GFT, the company that used to do Armani Collezione, they did Ungaro, Valentino, and some other sort of secondary suit lines, which is the floor that I bought. It wasn't the Armani floor. It was like 4 and 5, which were sort of like $400 suits made in Italy. And it was a huge business for Barney's. So Peter said, here are the swatches, pick what you like. And so then,
is he like testing you?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, so you have an in and an out pile.
Yeah.
As soon as I was finished, and Peter didn't say a single word through the whole thing. And of course, I'm like sweating bullets, like, fuck.
Trial by fire.
As soon as I was done, Peter said, let me see your outs. Like he wanted to see what I didn't choose.
Sure.
And that's how he taught me to sort of, because he'd say like, why did you not choose that? And like, at first I was like, and and some of the times it was like, he wanted me to say like it was ugly. And he would say, you're right. But many times, or probably more often at the very beginning, it was like, no, you missed this. And here's why. And then he would tell me why I missed what was better. And then, I learned very quickly how to, and I think that like you have to work with someone to be able to sort of understand that. And I think that, so editing, that skill is probably outside of selling the two single most important skills that we possess in fashion. Like, you got to narrow it down and then you got to sell it,
Taste level is kind of like a muscle that needs to be worked out, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, self-education and also surrounding yourself or being in the vicinity of people that can educate you as well.
Yeah.
That's right. Because, it's like, I think that, and I would say this about myself. Yes, let's say I probably had an aptitude. I had decent taste. I was like, I came to the table with something decent. But the thing is, like, if it isn't refined, then it's going to be all over the place. And I would definitely say that I was all over the place. So that's how you can appreciate someone like Jill Sander. You only when you learn. Like, I'll never forget the first time I went to a fabric show. All I wanted to do was like look at plaids and stripes and, and things, but like solids were the most important. Like, and it's way harder and it's way less interesting to pick solids, but that's actually what I prefer now.
Interesting.
Do you have any style advice for fellow short kings who are listening out there? Because I mean, we've talked about body type a lot, and that's also one of the things with developing your sense of personal styles, like know thy body.
Well, no, that's the only rule you need to understand about any kind of style or looking good is like, and you have to be brutally honest with yourself. So that's why I'm so obviously drawn to Japan because, it's kind of short and wide is like the proportion there. And which is
kind of counterintuitive, right? To some degree, right?
Right. Well, and listen, there's nothing chicer than a super, super, super thin, Japanese person in something oversized,
right?
Which is something I will never, quite look the same, but like, it's amazing. But you have to, and so, there are certain brands that I've just never been able to wear because it's like cut for someone taller.
What are your must-hit stores in Tokyo? Because this is another question we get a lot, and who better to ask than you?
Well, okay, let's see. So I'm calculating by neighborhood. I mean, obviously the single most important store is Dover Street Market, Ginza, because it's beyond.
It's crazy.
That's the best DSM in the world.
It is.
It's certainly the wackiest.
Well, and it's, and it's connected. It's behind Uniqlo, which is also brilliant. There's two tunnels that you can get to from, but
red pill, blue pill,
high low.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But,
which way, Western man?
The other Okura, the Indigo store.
Oh, in Daikanyama.
Yeah.
Which is like an old temple.
Right. I mean, it's like beyond.
It's Blue Japan.
Right.
But the store is Okura.
Got it.
That's right.
It's fire.
And then they also have other stuff too, like upstairs. It's like Indigo Paul Harnden. Like it's good.
Indigo heaven.
It's Indigo heaven.
You walk out of there a little blue.
Yeah.
And even if you don't like blue, there's red too.
Right.
There's a little red. Well, the 3 Capital stores. Well, there's actually 4 now because there's the one in the mall. Oh, United Arrows, and Beams.
Fucking can't throw a rock in Tokyo without hitting a Beams or United Arrows,
You know,
which is great.
You kind of can't.
Muji?
Well, oh my God. Well, the coolest Muji I've ever been to is the one in Ginza. It's gigantic. They sell a house there, a prefab house.
Yeah.
It's so
It's like a
cool.
small home.
Yeah.
Right.
Went to Muji, bought a crib.
Yeah.
Nick, what do you spend on clothes per month?
Well, I know what it was pre-COVID. Oh,
Did you buy more clothing pre-COVID or during COVID?
oh, pre.
Really?
For sure.
You want to have places to wear the shit.
Yeah. And also, you know, my income at that point was unclear where it was going to land. I mean,
Yeah.
it's still not pre-COVID times for me, but it's not a problem. I was spending $13,000 a month for a while.
A month? God
for a
damn.
while.
So,
Which is crazy too, because I would imagine that like a man of your stature, you get a lot of free stuff. Like your flow is, you know, I would imagine that faucet is going.
But the problem, you know, and
But it's never exactly what you want.
Well, I was
right?
going to say,
That's the curse of flow.
but then I'm always
it's tap water that feels a little off.
Yeah.
But when I
Put
when
that
I
bitch in a filter.
do get something that I'm like, holy fuck, I love that. You know, it's like, and it's rare, but it happens.
Yeah.
That makes it even better.
Sure.
What I love is I'm happy to support the brands that, you know, send me something and I happily post them. The thing is, I also love to give a lot of it away to my nephews or to some people who I think are going to be deserving
Your favorite
or
podcast
will.
hosts.
Yeah. Throw us on that list.
I mean, it's crazy.
If little Timmy
Wait,
doesn't want the
What
fucking
shoe size are you guys?
I'm a 10.
9.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's-
You're like the only other 9.
Oh, damn it. I'm a 9 too, actually.
9 UK.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll stretch them shits out, dude.
How much do you think you've spent on clothing in your entire life?
Oh, I did this exercise once. I mean, believe me, it's the real estate or the 401k that, you know, everybody else my age has.
Damn. So you definitely
I'll just put it that way.
over $1 million in at least.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. Easy, especially with inflation. Come
Yeah.
on.
Thanks, Byron.
Nick, you're also known for being incredibly hot and for being an international jet setter. So in what country do you get the most ass?
Well, the continent of Europe, but I do very well.
Damn, we're talking continents?
I mean, I do very well.
Talking
in-
euros. Euros.
The only continent he hasn't gotten laid in is Antarctica.
Have you gotten laid in
I've
Antarctica?
never been there, and I've never been to South America.
Oh,
Although
okay.
I'm sure I could.
You've
do
been laid
okay
in
there.
Australia?
Oh yeah.
Fuck yes.
You could go to Antarctica and fuck a scientist, I'm sure.
I like a nerd. you know?
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't discriminate.
Absolutely.
Where do you get recognized the most on the street?
Asia,
Asia.
Japan? Korea?
China.
China.
Oh, really?
Yeah, what's so crazy is they don't even officially have
Instagram.
Yeah,
Instagram,
it's
but-
illegal.
right, but
You're big on Weibo? Like,
apparently I am.
big on TikTok?
Yeah, okay. Well, this is funny. So I was so one of the first things that I went to this fall was a dinner, and this woman said to me, "You know, you're big on TikTok, right?" And I was like, "What?
What's TikTok?
And actually, it's really funny. I should know who this guy is. My nephew actually sent it to me. And of course, I thought like the first time somebody did a meme of me that they were fag bashing me, but like it's some guy who breaks down my outfit.
Wow.
And
Like game tape.
but anyway, so we were talking and I said something and I go, "Oh, so you must," I said, "Yes, I have a TikTok. I literally have like 6 followers because I couldn't get Nick Wooster. So I didn't have Nick Wooster on Snapchat or, whatchamacallit, TikTok. But, anyway, I said, "Oh, so you must," because she keeps pressing me. And I said, "Oh, you must work at TikTok." And she's, "No, I work at Instagram." I was like, "Oh my God, that's hilarious." And I was like, "Thank you."
Why do you think
For
you're so big in
Instagram.
China? Does China have a like big burgeoning fashion moment about to happen? Because like we see
Yeah, for
from
sure.
TikTok,
Yeah.
Chinese street style is huge there.
Yeah, it's where the money is, right?
It's called money.
Yeah.
Like, you
So
know,
do you think that's why you're big there?
well, I think, listen, I have, you know, totally made this up. No one's ever told me, but I really believe that the reason why Asian people are interested in me is because I'm approachable in terms of the size. Like,
Oh,
it's like
interesting.
we
The
see
height.
eye to eye. Right.
Yeah,
Like,
that would
it's
make
a
sense. Yeah.
So that's why I really, I mean, I think.
Do they have like a crazy like name for you? Like in Japan, are you like
Yes.
badass grandpa or like what is there like?
Shoshu, I think fashion uncle is what they call me.
Fashion,
Yes.
fashion uncle.
Yes. That's how I feel about you are a fashion uncle. That's
you
accurate.
get a lot of ass in Asia.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And I like that.
Do you like dating dudes in the fashion industry, or is that kind of like you want
No.
to keep it church and state?
Yeah, a little bit.
Are dudes or fashion guys just like not? Are they too annoying? Are they too?
You know them all. No discretion.
Are they clout chasing by trying to get with you?
I mean, I can't speak for them. Listen, I've slept with my share of fashion dudes, that's for sure. No, I just think it's like anything. I think it's like I'm interested in something else. Like,
Yeah,
you
Sure.
know,
They just
Right.
want to talk clothes, and you're like, can we just talk like
Yeah.
food
Can you
or-
style
can we
me
just
or
talk
whatever?
about disco.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you have a type?
yeah, I used to. I mean, a pulse.
Okay.
a pulse on a hole, right?
Yeah, right.
Basically.
A warm hole. All right. I mean, that's a very diplomatic answer. Everyone can apply.
It's very Catholic, small c. Like, you know, I'm all over the place. Like
Right. You're sampling.
You're a Renaissance man in more ways than one.
Well,
You're a forever bachelor. Can we or like you have no desire to settle down or
none. It's
I
not
love
going to
that.
happen.
Never gonna
Absolutely
happen.
not.
You just want to seat at life's buffet.
yeah.
Exactly.
Of
George,
ass.
George Clooney got married before Wooster. You're more of a DiCaprio type, just terminally single.
Yeah, I love being single. I mean, the last relationship ended in 2008, and it was not and like, oh,
Was that a long-term thing or was that
4 years, 4
Okay.
tumultuous years.
and you were like ready to fucking bust out, no pun intended.
Yeah, it just was. And
It's not for you.
It's not for me.
You want
It's not
to
for
you're the kind of you want to live alone, you want your own space. Do you and then
Well, you can't share closet space, right? You have too much
hell no.
I mean, I look at those, HGTV shows where they're like the closet. I'm like, oh, please. I mean, if you're not turning
Broke boys.
rooms into closets,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
then also, if I were ever going to be in a relationship, I'd have to have separate bedrooms, separate bathrooms, and then separate wings.
A real 1950s arrangement, you know what I mean?
Exactly. But
Separate wings.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like I got to have my own.
This man knows how to live, dude.
Yeah.
But
Fucking love
A
it.
lot of couples could take this advice.
well,
Not speaking about
that's
myself.
okay.
obviously,
And
but-
here's the bottom line: I can't afford that, so it's like I'm not
Yeah.
doing that. Why would I torture myself?
Do you we mentioned Grinder, but in my opinion, and in Lawrence, this is what I've taught him, is that Instagram is actually the best dating app. Are your DMs a war zone?
Yes.
Like how many dick pics do you think you've received in the hour and 12 minutes that we've been talking?
Let's see.
we're gonna do the math.
I'm sure that there are a few.
You're always sharing like very nice looking young men beefcakes to your Instagram stories. So we get a nice little kind of, look into the mind of a very horny man. But the DMs is a whole nother level.
It must look like Fallujah,
Yeah. Fucking Baghdad.
Ukrainian border, Kazakhstan.
I would say 60% of my DMs are people that there's been dick pics involved.
60%.
Yeah.
Those are
pretty good.
Those are Hall of Fame numbers.
He's a veteran of the game.
I mean, listen, I'm very liberal with a dick pic. Yeah, I never met a dick pic
That's
I didn't
refreshing.
like.
It's refreshing, to be honest.
You must have gotten like some ugly dick pics.
Yeah, but I delete them.
But also, you're such a pro now. Or do you ever and you're such like an OG? Do you ever like give out advice? You're like, hey, you should really try like facing a little more west.
He's mentoring the youth.
No one's ever asked for my help in that department, but I managed to, I am a terrible photographer. I managed to make the most attractive people look terrible. So if you see me on the street and you ask me to take a picture of you, which has happened.
Wait, people are like, they want you to take a picture of them?
Exactly.
Because they think you're
a
photographer?
just a random person, which I love.
Okay.
I love it when that happens because I'm like, but then I take the worst pictures of them. And it's not because I'm doing it to be a dick. It's because I literally am the worst photographer.
Oh, we're just talking about
in
like
the
a
world.
tourist. They're stopping you. And I guess your immediate
Right.
reaction is you think, oh, someone's going to recognize me. But they're just like, hey, we're here on the holidays. Can you take a picture of the family in front of the Rockefeller Christmas tree or
Right.
something?
Right.
Okay.
How did you get recognized in New York?
It used to happen a lot more. But this is the thing. I always think it's like New Yorkers would just, they would never ask. Like, it's just not a thing.
Right. That's definitely a New York mindset.
It's like, it's always, I mean, I think that's why, it's just a lot of people like to live here because it's easy to be anonymous.
Yeah. Everyone's too cool for school to be.
And I used to always say that it happens in retail stores. So like if I'm in Bergdorf's or if I'm in
like the salespeople
Saks,
are like, hey,
or just
shoppers.
Oh,
like
wow. They
it's
share
usually
the sensibility.
right.
Those are your people.
Yeah.
Those are my people. And I'm okay with that.
Speaking of retail, you were a big swinging dick at a lot of the biggest retail behemoths in America. What was the biggest perk of like being a fucking boss at a company like JCPenney?
It was the most incredible creative job I ever had. And you would think that because it's JCPenney, it wouldn't be, but it was because it was the ability to do anything. Like,
right.
And,
the world is your oyster.
Right. And so, we took killer research trips.
Oh, right.
Which was like beyond. And we had amazing budgets to be able to buy samples and to hire people.
Yeah.
And so that's the bigger they are, these companies, that's what's so great. I mean, Aaron, when he was at Abercrombie, I mean, if you have the good fortune to be in one of these jobs at some point in your life, for me, I could never do that forever. It was, and I always say that I was there exactly the right amount of time because I'm sure that had I been there longer, it would have turned.
Sure.
But it didn't. It was like the perfect amount of time because those kinds of things, it's a churn and burn. Like after a year where sales start to go down, the first people they're looking at is like, okay, we got to get rid of that.
Yeah. Sure.
Who's this guy taking trips to Kenya?
Well,
going on safari to get inspo.
We didn't do anything quite like that. But for me, I'm happy to go shopping. So it's just the shopping trips in Paris, Tokyo, Hong Kong, London.
Were your expenses crazy when you were at that job? Like your expenses, this not like necessarily the company of the shopping trips, but you like crazy hotels or flying, private jets.
We did fly private, and we did stay in super nice hotels. But if you think about the size of the business,
it's all
like
relative.
I was overseeing $7.5 billion worth of merchandise.
God, so you were a bargain, really.
So
cheap date.
Yeah,
kind of. I mean, if you do a straight percentage, it's like it doesn't take a lot to be meaningful.
Sure.
And they were cutting budgets when we were there, so it wasn't like we had this carte blanche to do crazy trips.
Oh, I got to fly first class.
Yo, I want to go.
Not
I want to go see what's happening on the moon right now. While you were working at these big retail shops, like what was there one thing that always kind of frustrated you in that world that you'd hope to like change one day, but you just kept running into?
Yeah, customers minds. Like I think that's probably every retailer on the planet goes through this. I'm sure Bruce at Bergdorf's does. It's always shocking what works. And, you're always happy when anything works because, the minute you get something comes across the door, you got to get rid of it.
Yeah.
But it's always shocking that even at the best stores, a brand like Ralph, Giorgio Armani, like Prada, who they think their customers is always way different than who they want them to be.
Oh, right. Sure.
Or I'm sorry, who they are is different than who they want them to be or who they think they are.
Fantasy versus reality.
And it's just like, that's just how it is. So that is the frustrating part because you just wish people would get it quicker and faster and see
so it's
things.
kind of bridging that gap in the employer's minds of like, this is what you think it is, but this is actually what the reality is.
Well, I mean, that's the fashion game is trying to figure out, and when I said, that the single most important skill in design is actually selling. Yeah. I'm on it's true because first of all, you got to sell the idea to your boss and then up the chain, but you've also got to sell it out to like customers. And so there's a lot of opportunities for that to go haywire. And obviously a lot of things do, because anytime you walk into a store and you see a rack or a table of merchandise and you're like, the thing is like a lot of people had to sign off on that. Right. A lot of people at a brand, a lot of people in a factory, a lot of people,
a lot of people had to be convinced to take the risk to bring this one item into the store.
Right. And so,
And then it's dismissed in 1 second.
and
as trash.
and many times it's like, what the fuck were these people thinking? But also I always say, like, there's a reason for every single thing you see. And even if you as a salesperson standing on the floor can't understand what that is, or a customer, like, what the fuck are these people thinking? A lot of people were thinking about it.
Right.
It just is, and then, yes, sometimes you're like, what was I thinking? Like, where was that ever a good idea?
Right.
Well, you were on drugs back in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Have you ever had...
Sometimes those are some of the best ideas.
Yeah, for real. That's the same to go for, we should say about podcasting as well. Have you ever throughout the years like thought about what, and I'm sure you have, but like, do you have any interest in maybe having your own store at one point? Is that something that's crossed your mind?
It has a lot. And
and you know the tribulations obviously that come with that kind of business.
I mean, I always say I am the smartest business person in the world because I've never done that.
Sure. We can't say otherwise.
You've never lost money on retail.
Right. Like, I wish it was the business that I grew up in and that even I knew even 15, 12, 10 years ago. Unfortunately, it is not. And and so any retailer, Ronnie, Adrian at Dover Street Market. I mean, any retailer that's actually doing it, God bless Bergdorf's, God bless Sam at, Nordstrom, Rupel at Saks. Like, I mean, God bless them all, because it's so impossible to make money the way that we were taught to make money. And this is the reason why magazines don't exist anymore. And I'm afraid legacy retailers are,
the next to go.
It's going to be hard. I mean, I think there will be legacy retailers, as I think there will be publications, but it's going to be
You got to learn and adapt, right? That's like, yeah, exactly.
Right. And and the problem is when
it's hard to fucking steer a cruise ship.
I was just going to say, it's hard to turn a battleship.
Yeah.
And, because they do come up and down the river. Like, every Sunday morning, there's a Carnival cruise line that comes, and
Sail Week must be fire over here.
A ship full of people looking for you to take their picture.
I'm probably, but anyway,
damn, I wish we had video.
Yeah.
That was a great. Nick just pantomimed jerking off a dick.
I mean, I'm not afraid to walk around without clothes on in here. But anyway, the thing is, it's unfortunate because the problem is when you are huge, you got a lot of mouths to feed, and there's a lot of, you can't just
there's a ton at stake.
Change on a dime. Right. There's a ton at stake. So it's like, and, unfortunately, it is going to be a Darwinian situation. And
it already is, right?
I mean, it is, and it has.
Look at Barney's shit.
It's
such a bummer, but
it's shocking. I mean, I think Business of Fashion had a story about like who the replacements or what the next thing is going to be. And I mean, God bless, but I don't think it's that clear. I mean, I think that we're still, neither fish nor fowl at the moment. Like, it hasn't fully, migrated to something else.
We're in the middle of it still. Yeah.
And I wish that I could figure it out, because I would happily do that. But it's going to be a tall order. I still think people want interesting things and want to experience them in real time, in real life. But if you don't have a back end, situation where you can seamlessly get people stuff, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're dead in the water.
Well, one of these legacy brands and retailers that has, at least so far, weathered the storm.
Though they had some bumps.
They've had their rough days. It's Ralph, right? And you worked at Ralph Lauren for 5-6 years?
No. A year and a half.
A year and a half.
A year and a half.
Oh, you were at Ralph for a year and a half. But you did meet the man, and he did fucking, either praise you or
tear you down.
Yeah. What is the single best piece of advice the man himself ever gave you?
Well, I don't know that he gave it to me, but he gave it to all of us. I mean, the guy lived his life as though it were a movie.
Main character syndrome.
Well, but the thing about
but he earned it. He is the main character.
Well, he did earn it, but it was such an amazing. It was like a masterclass in like
a cinematic
creation,
lifestyle, literally. Yeah,
because he created something beautiful, and I mean, you can say, I mean, I'm sure you could say something snarky about it, but at the same time, it was incredible, and it was incredible to be a part of it, to be, you know, on set, in, you know, behind the scenes, and to just see it happen. Because I mean, if I could, I mean, I think anybody on the planet that could, I mean, if you could, you'd be happy to live like that. You know,
for sure.
Like,
I mean, you literally said he's a billionaire. You said it already. Like that's,
but if there's a type that should be like that, he is the type, because he has great taste.
Absolutely. That's
and history. Like, he really understands things. It's not like
he's a student, like you're saying. He studied it. He, you know,
and
did his
that,
research.
You know, and I don't even think I'm as curious as I should be, but like, I know that I, compared to most, and probably am. But I think that that's probably the other thing that astonishes me about young people that are not curious. Like, I get it that it's all easy to flip and swipe, and it's an amazing tool. And I mean, I saved my ass so many times to be able to figure things out, but like, I still want to look at things, and I still want to find out more. The
curiosity, the hunger, that's a foundational thing that people need to survive, at least in this game.
I mean, anybody who's interesting is curious.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, here's a question that curious minds, inquiring minds have been hankering for, and we're almost done here, but I had to sneak this in, Nick. All aspiring zaddies need to know, what's the skincare routine? Because you look fucking great.
Fucking glowing.
You are the white Pharrell.
I wish.
What is the skincare routine, my friend?
Dr. Barbara Sturm. But I, you know, now that is one thing. I have been sent so much great product. I mean, Natura Bissé, Revive. I don't even.
What is Dr. Barbara Sturm? Is that like a fire, like dermatologist?
Well, she's a doctor. She's not a dermatologist.
Okay.
I'm not sure what kind of doctor she is. She invented the vampire facial.
Okay.
Which is like where they do, you know, bloodletting, and, you know, there's like a transfusion, not a transfusion, but there's like blood involved. There's
some
blood
Illuminati
involved.
shit.
There's an IV.
Yeah.
There's an IV.
Get that adrenochrome going.
You know, I have never had one. I really would like one.
But that's her shit.
But she makes really insane product.
Okay.
You know, so, and I'm pretty.
So it's a product game. There's not like, I don't know.
Well,
like,
not drinking.
Yeah, right.
Immensely.
Sobriety for
That's
sure.
why we look like shit, right?
Yeah, I'm shit-faced right now.
I like it. I mean, no. So, right. So I don't drink. I'm eating
You
better.
stopped smoking too, right?
I stopped smoking 6 years ago. It'll be 6.5.
Damn.
You don't smoke like in street style, just like look extra cool?
I don't. And that's the thing that's so crazy, is that I don't smoke. Like, I love smoking, and I was a dedicated smoker. I mean, the reason why I stopped smoking was so I could get a facelift, which I did. And
they told you like you have
to stop smoking. So, and I stopped smoking a year because I thought I was going to do it. And then I ended up being another year. And so I'd gone a year. So then I was like, well, because I really thought, okay, after 2 weeks, because they say after 2 weeks you can smoke again. But I was like,
I've already come this far.
Yeah.
Yeah. and I have not had another cigarette since September 2nd, 2015.
What are your indulgences these days? Is it comfort food?
Food.
Yeah.
Like,
and
food
shopping.
and shopping.
Yeah.
And
yeah, right.
Hell yeah.
So also skincare routine, get a facelift. That's part of it, right?
Well, and I take testosterone. I see an age management doctor, and
shit.
You know,
you take care of yourself.
I take, peptides and HGH and testosterone and all with the doctor, but you know, and that costs money.
Like a baseball player.
I
juiced up.
I think, well, because, you know, so somebody was asking me, like, so I'll be 62, and I was thinking, like, who are the other 62-year-olds out there?
That look as good as you?
Tom Cruise and
Tom Ford.
Tom Ford. He's a year younger than me. Wow. Tom Cruise is a year or two younger than me, and Brad Pitt is a year or two younger than me. Now, I'm not saying I look, but let's just say you look better than Tom Cruise.
Yeah, we could put you above that fucking short king.
But
you're taller than him.
But the point is that, you know, I don't think anybody in that list of people, and I'm sure there are, you know, I mean,
how old's George Cortina? He's
like 3 years younger than me.
Okay.
And yes,
because he also looks great.
Right. But so it's like the trifecta. I mean, it's not a secret. It's like you got to diet. It's diet and exercise are it. And sleep is like another one lately that I've been really like, it's like some nights I sleep really well and some nights I really don't, but it's important. I go to bed early though.
How early are we talking?
Well, during COVID, like 8,
Time you wake
7:30,
up.
8. Well, it depends. Anywhere from 3 to 5.
3?
I know. I woke
go
up at
work
3
out?
the other day. I don't go to the gym until usually 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock every day. But
Okay.
like, I love the morning.
Okay,
Just,
you
like,
are a morning
fuck
person.
around and-
Okay, yeah, that's
Fucking
that's a
text-
me time.
Text the Japanese
And it's my-
homies.
Yeah,
You know,
Checking on the Chinese fans.
get on Shanghai Grinder.
My media.
Yeah.
Nicholson, you are working on a writing project right now that you briefly mentioned, where I believe the premise of the chapter is you credit 3 guys in, who had an instrumental part in creating the Nick Wooster legend. Is it true that this fucking goofball sitting next to me is one of
Oh,
them?
this is my favorite portion of the show right now.
Okay. So actually the
turning
premise,
Lawrence
the
mic off.
premise of the chapter is not that.
Oh,
It's
it's
like,
not. That's what you texted me. That was you. You said it was. We changed
what's the
it.
premise of the
What's the
chapter?
premise?
okay, it's like uncommon results for entrepreneurs. So it's
Okay.
like this book is like entrepreneurs, like real entrepreneurs.
Like Gary V.
Right. I mean, he's not in that, but yes.
Thank God.
But it's people like that.
Got it.
But like I call myself a reluctant entrepreneur
Mhm.
because I did not want to. Rupert Patel is the person responsible for forcing me to stop looking for jobs and to sort of like
Do your own thing.
Work for yourself.
lead this lifestyle. And she was 1,000% right, but I didn't do it willingly.
You had
It
to
was
be
and I
forced,
was
yeah.
pissed.
So you look so angry, smoking.
You're like, I gotta
South
pay
Photos.
for my own health insurance now. This sucks.
Well, no, it's just I was a pussy, and I'm insecure, and I didn't really think that like
gotta
what
put
could
yourself out
someone
there, yeah.
like me do, and I've been shocked, but but it's because I have an audience, and that was I credit Tommy, Scott, and Lawrence as
Scott
being,
Schumann, Tommy Ton, and me. Wow, that's
because
rare company.
here's what happened in January of 2010 when I was offered a job to be the men's fashion director at Neiman Marcus and Bergdorf Goodman. I was living in LA and I got on a plane and I landed in Milan on a Friday night, had dinner with the Xenia people, and then on Saturday morning, went to my first round of shows. And I'm convinced that because of the dress code at Neiman Marcus,
Right.
like I was in, I looked nice, and because I was fresh meat, and because like street style had been around for a couple of years, like I was like a fresh face
Fresh
that just
face.
exactly the stars were in alignment.
Yeah.
That Tumblr
Perfect timing.
blog
Yep.
like moment happened, and so Scott posted a picture of me after the Gucci show,
Is that the
which was
first
like
piece of street style featuring you?
yes,
Okay.
Wow.
and
so
it
you
was
started
like
with
the
the fucking
Tuesday.
Came out.
Well-
Well, he was like the only one doing it. We're not
Well,
one of the
No,
first.
so Tommy actually posted a picture of me on GQ.com the day
Got
before,
it.
but Scott did it the day after.
Right.
So it was like Monday, Tuesday of that
1-2 punch.
Yeah.
And
Out the gate hot.
I was like, okay. And then I thought it was, I found that article that you wrote and I thought it was like in February or March, but it was actually in June.
Okay.
But the thing
Late.
that happened,
I was
no,
late.
but the thing that happened is, and I remember the moment it happened, and I got in trouble with Neiman Marcus because so in Paris in June of 2010, it was hot as fuck, and I took a chance and I got in trouble for it because I was violating the dress code.
Bad
But I wore
boy.
a Fred Perry polo shirt, and I had like these pink Junior pants and FBTs, and people were like, "Oh my God, Wooster's tatted up," and I swear that's like what happened.
That was like the tipping point.
And so, it was, and because of that mustache, and because I
You had a
was
look. You had
decent-
such a
I-
unique, badass look. I think this is embarrassing. The title of the blog post is "The Anatomy of a Badass." Which
You don't think
please
that-
do not go back and Google because my writing
Yeah.
does not hold up. But the sentiment is
Well,
timeless.
I mean, I am eternally grateful to
Well,
you for that because I was so
I'm
blown
eternally
away
grateful for you, bro.
that I was like, like what? Like, but because I was just me, like I was just like, fuck, I've got to.
You were
figure out
literally on a
way.
business trip. You're like literally just doing your job.
I was doing my job and I was trying to find a way to not be hot and to not get in trouble for violating the dress code. That I got written up in HR.
You got a demerit.
Wow. Little did they know.
I got written up even worse. So like a month later, that July, the Neiman's people were in town, and I took,
From Dallas.
from Dallas, and because I didn't have the kind of money then, I mean, they paid me decently at BG, but it wasn't like I took a J. Crew suit and literally got, as I was getting dressed, hacked off the pants and into shorts. So they were just like, and it was a gray pinstripe suit, and showed up at a Montclair appointment with the GMM of Neiman's. And, you know, the next day I got a call from my boss, and it was like, it was an official, like,
They were
warning.
like appalled.
It was a warning that, you know, like, and I had a French cuff shirt and a tie,
Right.
and, you know,
But hacked off track shorts.
How stupid did your boss feel being like slap you on the wrist for like not dressing correctly?
so
It just seems very
Right. While you're out here
old-fashioned.
elevating, because as you elevate yourself through like these platforms, like it also, people are like, what's this guy's name? What does he do for a living? It's ultimately free press.
But also, if you want to talk about
For
a
Neiman
fucking,
Marcus.
incredibly outdated,
Yes.
you know,
And short-sighted.
institution, it's a dress code at,
Yeah.
you know,
And you're a grown ass man. It's like, what? That's bizarre. But
Well, but here's the thing. And I could argue both sides. Like, I understand their point of view, but I will say that's precisely why they're going to go the way of the dinosaurs.
Mhm.
Like, it's that, because it's that kind of thing. Now,
that mentality.
they've since replaced those people that are no longer there. And I think
they're paying someone whose job is to monitor the dress of the employees.
they pay people to monitor social media.
Mm.
They're monitoring Twitter, well, Facebook, Tumblr. I got, you know, like, they have people doing that.
Were you always getting in trouble? Like,
Yes, yes, yes.
Wait,
And-
so did you secretly
yes.
not like getting street styled because you're like, yo, come on, like I'm trying to fucking show off the tats, but I don't want Neiman Marcus. You're like, come on, you're gonna get me in trouble.
No, it's a self-sabotage thing. Like, you know,
Yeah.
what I say is, like, I am so grateful to that, you know, to those people at Neiman Marcus and that heinous queen that was my boss.
Get his
But,
ass.
you know, but they gave me, and I only had to do it for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. I only had to do it for a very short amount of time.
Well, thanks to this guy next to me, you know, and others, obviously. Your
But let me
star,
just say public. You're welcome. I'll just say that public.
well, your star rose and has led us to this point here, and I think that, you know, it's
Yeah.
fair to say that as your star rose, you definitely got some more bussy because of it, and so I do think that maybe Lawrence, like, I don't know, like 6% of like the
I wanted 6% of that dick. A lifetime supply.
which brings us to
Yes.
meats and cheeks,
The best portion of the podcast.
best portion of the podcast. For the short kings out there, what are some like dating tips you've gleaned over the years?
Get a haircut.
Ooh, true, right?
How did you get your haircut?
How often? Every 2 weeks.
Really?
I just went
like
today.
clockwork.
This week it was 3 because I knew that the trip was going to be 2 weeks and I
Mm.
didn't want to have to deal with it in the middle. So
For
I
sure.
went a third week, but it's like clockwork.
Get a haircut. That's all you need.
Go to the gym. Like,
Take care of yourself.
do some push-ups. Like, yeah, that's about it.
It's simple.
And read a
Yeah,
book.
it's really-
read a
read a
book.
fucking
Wow.
So you've
read a
got, like,
book.
something to talk about
Yeah.
besides, you know, the weather and like.
Get a haircut, hit the gym, and read a fucking book. You fucking heathens.
Here's something we want to talk about. How much money do you make? We've covered the sex. Now it's time. We can't
Yeah.
cover drugs. Well, we did cover the drugs. Now we're on to money.
Yeah. All the good shit. The Holy Trinity.
I do okay.
Yeah.
I
What-
mean,
what
Do you
do
do better now than you ever did in any of these corporate structures, or was JCPenney like?
JCPenney was
Yeah,
fucking, that was killer. I did make more money after that, but I have not maintained that number.
Well,
every
that's
year.
that's one of the things about being an entrepreneur. It ebbs and it flows, right?
Right.
We experience this month to month.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I know the answer to the next question, but the question is, what do you like to spend your money on?
Well,
Clothes.
I love a hooker.
Sex workers.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. We support sex workers on this.
Yeah.
We're so pro sex worker on this podcast.
You know, the thing is, like, I'm trying to think about saving some money, but I would, you know, the thing that I've never done is I've never owned any piece of property. And that would be like the next get
Would it be
for
in the
me.
city? Would it be like upstate?
Yeah.
Would it
I
be
don't
Palm
know.
Springs?
Little country home.
You know, so when COVID first hit, a friend of mine who used to work at Ralph Lauren and left is now a super successful real estate person up in Sharon, up in that northwest corner of Connecticut, where it's like, the border of New York, Massachusetts. And I'm too afraid of bears, literally. I'm too afraid of wildlife. Like well, I was going to say,
what kind of bears are we talking about?
Maybe not Fire Island.
What do you consider yourself? What's your, are you a bear? No.
I mean,
you're Nick Wooster.
I don't want to say, but there. I'm not an otter. I think there's like a silver thing going on.
Oh, a silverback gorilla.
But I don't know.
All right, sorry for the aside. So you're looking at property, or you're staying with a friend?
No. But I mean, that's that would be the next thing. Like, what do you want to spend your money on?
But you don't want to call your own.
But you don't want to be in the countryside.
No,
Beach
I'm a
house?
city person. Beach or city?
Beach or city?
Do you eat out a lot? Do you cook?
I do, and so I've started to fix things here, but I wouldn't say that I cook.
More like a lunch. Make something for lunch.
I'm a heater and an assembler.
Yeah. Right. You're throw things in a bowl.
Yeah. I'm good at roasting Brussels sprouts.
Wow.
Ooh.
My man's got it.
What's your secret? Cumin? Paprika?
Just
heat?
Lots of salt and pepper.
Sure.
Olive oil,
It's easy.
It's just the right amount of time too.
Well, Nick, we know that it's almost time for you to eat your Brussels. It's almost bedtime for you. So we're going to wrap up the only podcast that matters. But before we do, you're obviously just fucking killing it. You're a certified legend. Thank you for allowing us into your beautiful home. Mm-hmm. That being said, we would love to offer up some constructive criticism from us to you. Take it or leave it. How does Jesse take it? I'll go first. So I have a dog shit memory. But I do remember one specific thing from our days at BPMW when like Lawrence was like, when you were first started popping on Tumblr and everything. And we first met at a penguin event at the Jane Hotel.
Wow. That's original penguin to you, sir.
Exactly.
Wow.
Lawrence once said to me,
oh my God.
We were like, how old are we? Like 23?
I don't know. No, older than that, which 24? Is even sadder. Yeah.
Lawrence was like, yo.
I don't remember this, by the way. I do not remember this.
I want to get a Nick Wooster sleeve that like goes down to my watch.
The gayest thing I've ever said, apparently.
So my piece of constructive criticism to you would be give your tattoo sleeve pattern to Lawrence. Let him just live out his dream of copying your sleeve.
I don't think I was saying like I want exactly what Nick has. I think I was just an appreciator of what was happening.
You said I want a sleeve.
I don't remember, and I don't remember this again, but. Yikes.
So am I supposed to apologize?
No,
this is get like a Nick Wooster like portrait like on your form or something.
Maybe I will. Maybe
or incorporate it into the sleeve.
Or it's a whole Wooster theme sleeve.
It's one full arm, right? From shoulder down to wrist.
Both.
He has two full sleeves. Yeah.
And then one leg sleeve?
No.
So the idea was meant to be sleeves and socks.
Okay.
Because they call this like from your ankle to your kneecap a sock.
Okay.
And the idea was I was only going to do sleeves and socks. It is
very painful to do this chin.
So
the shin,
exponentially.
Right?
Well, not even. No. So yes, the most heinous thing, but like it equally hurts on the other side, like in your thick calf.
Meat.
Like it all hurts. So I never finished socks. I've gotten 2 new ones here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How recently?
In the past, so between Christmas and New Year's of 2019 into 2020, so pre-COVID.
Oh, so they're big.
And then there's a snake that kind of goes like up to here.
Whoa.
Sick.
Up to your Prince Albert?
Sexual. Well, no longer.
Right.
Formerly.
Yeah.
That Prince Albert abdicated his throne.
Prince Albert.
All right. Well, that's my piece of constructive criticism. Or, take his I
actually, that's interesting because we were talking about your tattoos and if we wanted to bring it up. And I was like,
I have one here.
Really? That's new too?
So it was this is my sobriety date.
This is on my
neck.
Like on your throat.
You can barely see it because it's like super thin.
Right.
So this Korean guy who I saw in a store who knew who I was. And the thing that's so brilliant is Mr. K.
Oh yeah,
the thing that's brilliant about him is that he's got like more followers than I do. Like it's like
he's a big deal. He's like a celebrity tattooer. Yeah,
and I didn't know
tattoo
that.
Artist.
And also that the place was so Bang Bang was so nice. Like it was.
John Boy used to tattoo out of there. Bang Bang always has like the real shit for sure.
So he put a beautiful, very fine tattoo on this thigh, and then the idea was going to be the numbers were going to go under it, and then he said, "No, I want to put it somewhere else." So we kind of landed on. No, this was like the least
on your
painful.
Like What is this? Like your collarbone? What is this?
No, it's not even.
Like your
it's just,
clavicle?
literally
Yeah.
on my
throat.
neck, like throat. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Like Skepta.
it's. I want to have one on my hand. That's like
Ooh,
what I wanna
so
do
so
next.
so when we were talking about this, I was like, I feel like he hasn't gotten a tattoo in a while. Obviously, I was wrong, and you're going to get more, is what you're saying.
Well, here's the thing. This is to all you listeners out there. Like, do it
All
while you're
18
young.
million. Oh, really?
Oh my God, because your body has more collagen and more sort of
Mm.
elasticity. Like the older and dried up you get, like it's more painful.
Sure.
And so it's just, so do it while you're young.
Okay.
I'm a slow learner.
Could
Well-
Lawrence do it at 34?
I mean, we got our ears pierced. We both got our ears pierced late, you know? I don't know if I'm a tattoo guy.
I was 30.
James has a bunch of tattoos.
No, I was 33 when I
See?
got my first tattoo.
It's never too late.
Wow. Interesting.
I think I was 31.
Oh, so there you
It's
go.
never too late.
Late bloomers. A podcast for
You're-
late bloomers
you're
by late
right.
bloomers.
Right in the sweet
Right
spot.
in the sweet spot. Okay, that's good to know.
I'm trying to convince
My piece of constructive criticism is less of a gripe or whatever what yours was. How
Mine
about
wasn't a gripe.
a gripe for me, I guess. or-
Mine was. I wanted to complete the circle that
Okay, all right.
started back in 2010.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Nick,
Close the loop.
Nick, obviously you are a very famous face worldwide. Have you thought about maybe potentially modeling merchandise and or collaborations that a podcast might put out? I don't know. Something to consider. And obviously, doing it for the love of the game.
Well,
As the most.
$3.99.
So I would.
Yeah.
No, the thing is,
Because you
like,
model your own collabs. Share the love.
I do. And which is like, it used to really, like when I did my first Lardini collab, I'm like, I'm not going to be in the pictures.
Was that the first collab to Lardini? I remember
It
that.
wasn't. United Arrows was the
Oh,
first
okay.
one.
Damn, you came out the gate hot with the fucking bangers.
Yeah. I don't know how all that happened. But yeah. And Lardini, I wish I could do that again. It's just, it's like, it seems like the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just seems
For
like,
sure.
because I, in looking back, I can say like, wow, I really made some nice things. I didn't keep half of it, which is unfortunate because I didn't have the space, but I have
to call up your nephews.
it
and see
was
if they
such
still have
a,
them.
it was such a great experience. But yeah, I mean, I have resigned myself to the fact that I get my picture taken for
Yeah.
a living. And
It's what the people want from you. They want to see you.
as long as I look good in it, I'm happy to
Honestly,
chill for it.
We feel the same way. Not to
Yeah.
make this about us, but I mean the whole podcast really is. We know we're not professional models, but like we're comfortable in front of the camera, but we just have to get final cut. That's all.
Right.
You know?
No,
That's it.
exactly.
And really,
well,
break out
there's
break
a
out-
lesson. There's a lesson in self-love there to some. I really think there is.
Know thy body.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Know
mean,
your good side.
Know what you hate about your body.
Yeah.
I mean, those pictures were great. The ALD pictures. Like,
Oh, thank you so
you know,
much.
like,
Well, when we have some stuff coming out,
yeah.
we'll send it your
But
way.
listen, we could put you in some 5-inch inseam mesh shorts, and we can show off those new fucking thigh
well,
tats.
because
And we
I'm
will- and
all
we-
about a short short.
There
And we
you
won't-
go.
We won't get you written up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Throwing fits HR will not be
demerits.
breathing down your neck.
Nick, thank you for coming on to
You're the
only
fucking
podcast
best,
that
man.
matters. Where can the kids follow you
Yeah.
on all social media? And is there anything you want to plug?
Yeah, go crazy.
At Nick Wooster on Instagram. I'm the Nick Wooster on what's it called? TikTok. But
Let's
I
get
don't.
this man some TikTok. followers.
I've never made one.
No Twitter, right? Or is there?
At Nick Wooster.
Oh, okay, great.
Are you an active tweeter?
No. I just
IG.
retweet things that like
Yeah.
have my names attached to them. Or,
I love that.
And you should see who I follow. It's all porn.
Is it
Oh,
porn?
hell
Is it
yeah,
porn?
dude.
It's porn and politics.
Hell yeah.
That's
That's what America was built
I
on.
would say that's what
Right.
makes the world go around.
Exactly.
We're
Nick.
pushing P. Shout out Gunna. Porn and politics.
Thank you for coming on the only podcast.
Yeah,
that
you're a
matters.
fucking legend, man.
I don't know what the house song is that we're playing, but Chef, I'm gonna need you to slap that outro music right now.